It's time to hold them accountable, the bad actors in the media, bringing you what's ignored, sensationalized, unbalanced, misleading, or just plain false. Here's your media malfeasance for the week. WTOL put out this article, but to be fair, the whole article is actually from the Ohio Capitol Journal. Funny how that works, huh? Judge reverses order, forcing Ohio hospital to give ivermectin to COVID-19 patient. It says a Butler County judge sided with the local hospital, forcing it to honor a prescription of ivermectin, which infectious disease experts have warned against as a COVID-19 treatment. Which experts? Just the ones you choose? What about other experts that see it as viable? We're not providing that balance in this article. The rest of the article is spent essentially trashing the drug and buries the lead. Check it out. Ralph Larigo, an attorney representing Smith, said he won the lawsuit in a way. He said Jeffrey Smith obtained 13 days worth of ivermectin. "We are believers he's going to survive because of ivermectin," he said. "This is a man who has been helped by the medication, and this is a judge who just doesn't get it right." Now, this next one is from last week, but I just found out about it. Crazy, we don't ever seem to hear about retractions, right? The Associated Press had run this article that 70% of recent calls to the Mississippi Poison Control Center were from people who had ingested ivermectin to try to treat COVID-19. It was 2%. Whoops, AP, you were off by only about 3,400%. Meanwhile, a Rolling Stone, MSN, and The Hill, among others, issued updates to this bogus story about patients overdosing on ivermectin backing up hospitals. The origin of the story, KFOR-TV, kept their story unchanged. After multiple calls and emails...
Okay, well, I think that this charge is pretty important, and you may want to call a manager so that you can get this story updated so it's accurate and you're not misinforming your public.
9 days later, they finally issue an editor's note. It does not mention the statement by NHS Sequoia, which flat out denies the claims. It doesn't mention Arbuckle Memorial, which gave this response.
Have you been experiencing an increase in patients that have been overdosing on ivermectin?
No.
Instead, it points to Integris Grove, who they say prefers the term congested. That's funny. In their statement, they say, "What we can confirm is that we have seen a handful of ivermectin patients in our emergency rooms. And while our hospitals are not filled with people who have taken ivermectin, such patients are adding to the congestion." What's a handful? What about the ambulances backed up? Still not addressed. And the misleading headline? It remains the same. Midweek, CNN breaks news on its front page that a Florida judge allows school mask mandates to continue despite governor's appeal. Well, Fox News buries that headline and decides to highlight another Biden blunder. However, CNN ignores this bombshell, that the CDC tightened masking guidelines after threats from teachers' unions, according to emails obtained by a FOIA request. Also ignored by Yahoo News, MSNBC, ABC News, CNN, New York Times, and others, that it appears flippin' Fauci did lie to Congress about funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan, according to The Intercept. It exposed hundreds of pages of documents that reveal back coronavirus research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology was funded to the tune of more than $3 million. And part of that money was used to find and alter back coronaviruses that could jump to humans and infect them. Thursday night, we get Biden's big announcement. CNN says in its subheading that President Biden imposes more stringent rules on federal workers and encourages private businesses to do the same. Encourages? The actual article says at the center of Biden's new plan is directing Labor Department to require all businesses with 100 or more employees to ensure their workers are either vaccinated or tested once a week. Companies could face thousands of dollars in fines per employee if they don't comply. Encourages? Quote, "If businesses don't comply, the government will take enforcement actions, which could include substantial fines up to nearly $14,000 per violation." Questions reporters should be asking. Doesn't this cause more undue hardship in businesses and therefore our economy? Should businesses be charged with policing for government administration goals? Meanwhile, Fox News uses this salacious headline for the same story. Biden targets unvaccinated. But at least they include this context. Companies will have to pay for the testing, but they can pass the cost on to employees. In July, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters that a federal vaccine mandate was not the role of the federal government. Also of note, here's Biden in December.
No, I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
And yet, here we are. How many journalists are keeping those in power accountable, taking note of this pivot, calling them out and the media malfeasance? I'm Christy Lee.